But who knows? Team Ham, Gorillaz definitely don't want the Jug or the Lifestealer just because the Shadow Demon's so good with that ultimate. They thrive of being able to speed and run at people with their magic immunity, but the Purge able to still slow you down through all that. So again, it's another perk in the Shadow Demon's corner, really.
It really is, yeah. So even if you get that BKB kind of carry to help deal with things like the Soul Catcher, he's just like, well, I still can slow you down massively if you are trying to get away. So they're going to go Tiny with a third pick. So our third of 4 games that we're going to see Tiny. A hero that, like I was talking about, both in CIS and Southeast Asia qualifiers so far, this hero wasn't even seen once. And all of a sudden in South America, he's third game that we've seen him now in 4 total. So clearly a popular one. Okay, there's the Morphling.
Yeah. Tiny seems to be, I think we can, he's almost at the level where we can call him the South American special when he turns up. But as you mentioned, they've gone for the Morphling and a Shadow Demon, really nice pairing for the Morphling. You get those really strong illusions that they help you to push, even if you want to go for some sort of safe sieging. So some nice synergy between these heroes. But G-Pride, they have last pick of the draft, but they could also just pick their counters to the Morphling. The Outworld Devourer is, someone who I think of massively, and it hasn't been banned out. The OD really seeing a resurgence.
Bloodseeker.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's a little out of left field. I'm just doing a check real quickly. Yeah, no, it has not been played yet in these qualifiers. Okay, that's a Bloodseeker that we have coming out. Great against a hero like Centaur, of course, an anti-stampede in a sense, where sure you can run fast and away from me, but do you really want to when you're ruptured? So has that going for him. I'm looking also at the last patch. He did get base armor increased by 1, and his Ruptured Ag Scepter now has a 0.25 second cooldown rather than 0 seconds to help with misuse. Interesting. Okay, well, that's a minor thing, but base armor 1, so not a big deal necessarily, but yeah, Bloodseeker.
I mean, my assumption is that they think it is a counter to the Morphling. He's a hero who, likes to sit at low, low percentage and try and heal up. So, just gonna be getting that bonus damage, that speed, and I think they assume that it's a mid Bloodseeker. That's why they've gone for the Kunkka, just because you have that Tidebringer. You'll have that X as well, and so if he's Blood Rage and trying to last hit, the amount of damage he's going to take from that Tidebringer is nothing to sniff at. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's not a matchup I'm very familiar with. It's been a long time since I've seen a Bloodseeker, so I'm honestly pretty excited to see what G-Pride are able to do with it.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that, if they were even tempting a mid Bloodseeker, I would find it hard to believe that they're still going that route. So I would think more of a safe lane Bloodseeker. Look to last pick a mid hero that matches up decent against Kunkka, and more of a hero that can also take over the game. Because Bloodseeker, as fun as he is, he's not a. In fact, OD would have been pretty good going back to that point. Is not going to be an option though because it's banned. Warlock picked up by Team Hams. This is another one of these supports that's been popping up a bit. Left to the final pick, and sure enough, Team Ham will go the Warlock as their other support. But so back to Gorillaz-Pride, they need a mid hero. I feel like that could be their safety net for the late game to take over. Templar Assassin is still there. Would that be good?
I mean, TA can lane okay versus the Kunkka because you do have that refraction. You're not going to take hits from that Tidebringer, but they go for the Storm Spirit, and I don't think he doesn't have an insane matchup versus the Kunkka. But the one thing the Storm Spirit does have is he's going to have great vision provided for him by the Thirst of the Bloodseeker. So I think these two in combination, they think are an answer to the Morphling, but this is such a unique draft. I personally would have gone for the OD earlier, but G-Pride, they must have something up their sleeve, so I'm very excited to see it.
Yeah, to your point, actually, even further, the OD, they could have picked that, and the chances that a Bloodseeker would have been banned is probably pretty low, but who knows? Maybe they did want the Storm Spirit. Kind of goes back to the idea. This is certainly a fast lineup. I mean, this is a lineup that could win early if you have that good laning phase that you're looking for, and then Bloodseeker starts moving around with his rupture kills. But I do like the point you bring up into the Morphling matchup with the Bloodseeker specifically, and how that feast of his is going to be he's going to be running around pretty quickly and taking advantage of Morphling being in the game, you figure. So we'll see if they're able to win the game off of it or not. But
for Skitter, I think he needs to get a Lincoln Sphere because, you know, the Bloodseeker, he is, you know, very good against the Morphling. Morphling, he relies on being able to strength morph, then waveform away, and you won't be able to do that against Rupture. So I think that's the idea then. And, you know, honestly, the last time I saw Bloodseeker was when I was playing Underlords. You know, I went Assassins, I gave him a Mask of Madness, and, you know, we'll see whether that's as strong in real life or in real Dota, I guess. But you know, I love seeing unique heroes. I love seeing unique ideas, and G-Pride, I wish them all my luck, but I'm gonna have to vote for Team Ham's more conventional lineup.
Well, it goes back to the point that we are just talking about at the very beginning of this, right? Where this is a time to maybe bust out this crazy idea that you've been working on that is not necessarily a popular one amongst the masses, but something like a Bloodseeker to possibly counter a Morphling and run it as your carry. So we'll see. Madara is going to be the one playing it. Obviously, it's worth reiterating here that that is not the Madara that we know, that the Greek player. This is South American. I don't know if it's pronounced Madara or Madara as well, to be honest. But either way, it is not the same player. So just so that's out of the way.
Yeah, it's very interesting when players idolize another player so much that they decide to take their name. I don't think that was the case with the SCA Miracle. Now the complexity Miracle.
I call him Miracle. It's got the American twang to it, and yeah, just to be a little bit different, because yeah, it's the idea that's he named himself after Miracle because he's a fan of his.
Yeah, but either way, it's exactly the same. It's important to make their distinctions, and I'm not quite sure why we have a pause. These teams, they did decide to play on a different server just because they were having some issues with the Brazilian server. So I think we are on Peru, but both of them thought it would be better.
Yeah, I'm hoping that was just early. You know, I had to go to the restroom, pause real quickly, and hopefully I won't have to deal with the packet loss pauses that we've been seeing throughout. But this is interesting start. As to Toron's like, I'm going to take some retaliate charges, please. Thank you.
Yeah, I saw a match. I can't remember who it was, but they were up against the Centaur, and they knew he was going to take go for the retaliate charges. So they just smoked 5 men mid, so they were able to kill the Centaur, which was a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, they're kind of setting up like that. If he didn't have anyone nearby, maybe he could have taken advantage. But alas, that wasn't the case. Team Ham certainly did have backup, and they expected that could happen. So now into the laning phase, attempting to go as Warlock's almost sitting over here like, yeah, I'm totally by myself, please don't fight me. And then Morphling and Shadow Demon are setting up for a flank, or going to just try to get the rune before Sand King can, and they'll actually grab it because Sand King's not even going to try for it. As bottom, looks like Bloodseeker got the other one as well. So it is going to be a 3-for-1 to favor Gorillaz-Pride in the beginning.
Yeah. So I was thinking that they shouldn't solo lane this Centaur, and they have TP'd by the bot, and it looks like he was just top lane to help secure that bounty rune. Because if he was left to himself, I definitely think Bane is such a good support at being able to zone people out, has decent base damage, and you know, once you get a point into that brain sap, you're more than happy to trade hits with whoever you see.
Something we didn't really mention yet with the Warlock pick, by the way, is Warlock is a very good partner for Morphling. We talk about the attribute shifting going on. He puts that Shadow Word up when he shifts all the way to agility, has some damage taken, and that'll heal him up very quickly. So I'm sure that's a decent reason, one of several that they like the final pick Warlock, as well as just being you know Warlock, and being that he brings that massive ultimate to team fights and everything else. So it certainly is a very strong hero. Fatal Bonds is a crazy good ability as well throughout the game. So this is another one of these support heroes that I'm kind of like sitting back at and wondering what took so long for him to all of a sudden be picked up. Obviously he got some buffs, which was one of those attention buffs, I feel like, where it's like it wasn't like crazy good buffs. It was like guys reminding you this hero is here and he's very good, we think. So oh yeah, you're right. You know, he's pretty good actually. So we're seeing him again.
Yeah, it's exactly like you say. I really think the buff that suddenly made people remember about him was the Aghanims change, you know, suddenly staggering the chaotic golden offerings. But ever since then, it's just been the fatal bonds constantly being messed with. That seems to be what IceFrog thinks the problem with the hero is, just the crazy AoE he's able to provide.
See right there, Burrow Strike hits, Skitter drops about half-life, and then Shadow Word comes up and suddenly is back to near full. So it's going to be an interesting lane to watch at this top. Our mid matchup, Storm Spirit versus the Kunkka. In the mid, I got Dark Mago versus Mastermind. The players there.
Yeah, this is a matchup I'm really interested to see. Usually I would just think that the Kunkka wins us in the off, but you know, G-Pride, they did pick the Storm Spirit into the Kunkka, so he must have a good understanding of the lane and be happy to play it.
Leads into the bottom lane as well. The Bloodseeker Bane versus the Centaur Shadow Demon. Shadow Demon, he did get that first point of disruption. I was intrigued by Shadow Demon as well. I mentioned a hero that I happen to play a bit too, and seeing the builds. This is one of these heroes that certainly can go a plethora of builds. Even playing the same role as support, from either just going for poison stacks to getting that early disruption to and just how aggressive he plays. So again, choosing the disruption, it is a fantastic setup for the Centaur. Also, it could be used to even avoid what we saw right there with the Blood Ride if you wanted to. But yeah, I think having the Centaur teammate is absolutely the biggest reason he's going to have that disruption early on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a classic duo lane, isn't it? You know, you disrupt someone, Centaur walks on top, you get the stomp, and hopefully an easy kill from the remaining retaliate damage.
Yeah, really at level 3, especially if he goes a 1-1-1 build on Shadow Demon, I could see them getting an easy kill on either target, really, whoever they go for. So you can just see already that the presence Centaur is able to kind of freely last hit, it feels like, even despite Bane being there. But very even on the CS right now between the two.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah, mid lane is pretty even as well. Mastermind a little bit ahead because the Storm Spirit has taken so much harass that he's had to go pick up some runes.
Got the first blood top lane. Papita just simply collapsed on by both the Sand King and the Tiny. It brings some good stunts to the table, and Warlock could not get out of there. And of course, Morphling can't expect much to happen from him. So it's a free kill, first blood, going the way of Gorillaz-Pride at about 3 minutes in.
Yep, it's just lots of control here, as well as a decent amount of burst damage coming out from these two heroes. Interestingly enough, it is the Tiny who's farming. I had a feeling it might be the Sand King, just because that last game where we saw the Sand King give us a great performance. But with a core Tiny, you know, that's going to be a much faster Blink Dagger, and I'm really interested. Are we going to see an Aghanim Scepter coming out from him as well?
Yeah, that goes back to that direction. Certainly could be possible. So keep an eye on that for Gorillaz-Pride, what they choose to do. That's nice. Deny at the bottom lane. Happen to go down here and catch that. Shadow Demon does go 2 points in poison. Skitter goes down at the top lane, by the way. Meanwhile, bottom lane has to Joe Rotten. One attack away from death. No, the heal's coming in from his salve, and he'll be fine for now. In fact, Bloodseeker, you might not want to chase, buddy. Yeah, he's going to pop Retaliate, and all of a sudden, Matara has to be careful as he runs the other direction. Is that 5 stacks? I think it might have been. It gets the kill.
It was 4 stacks,
it's 4,
but
okay.
It was enough.
Yep.
And he was just on such low health. And that is not what you want of your happen to your safe lane. And once again onto the Storm Spirit of Skitter, he only has 2 points in the morph, and it looks like that might be just enough.
Yeah, that's the thing with Shadow Word. As great as this combo is, it's not burst healing, it's heal over time. So if you got burst damage on the other side, you can certainly break through it. And my guess is that might have been why they were able to get that kill initially. But this time, yeah, you see him get low, just not low enough, unfortunately, for the sake of the Radiant. They're still going to be a threat, and clearly Morphling is being careful. In fact, Papita's also going to have to be careful. Yeah, Burrow Strike. Yeah, but Sword did not want to commit to it. He's taking too much damage himself, I suppose. Fatal Bond's applied. I think Sword's going to be fine, though. As we hit the 5-minute rune, so that would be why, too. Wants to make sure to secure those. Sand King's going to get the other one in front of Morphling as well, so a nice steal for him.
No, take that with my thanks.
Yeah, so this laning phase seems to be going in favor of G-Pride so far. You know, they've been able to get the kill over on the Morphling. a bunch of times. Who's the second kill? Who went down first?
At the... Oh, what? The top lane? Morphling went down first, I believe. Hey, what are you talking about?
Oh, the Warlock. It was the Warlock. The Warlock was their first blood, wasn't it? Yeah, so this,
yes,
this
it was.
top
It was at the
lane's,
bull camp, yeah.
Is under attack.
Yeah, so basically this top lane is not going very well. The sword, yeah, you can see the Morphling. He's very far behind in the CS, and this isn't where you want to be if you're a safe laner, you know. Just the pressure they've been able to put on means, also this, the Sand King, he's, you know, got a point in Sandstorm. He's just farming for himself as well. So, your Morphling, it's going to be a while before he's able to get online, and I think he really needs a Linken's, and you can see he's queued up the Ring of Health, so I think that signifies that that is the item that's coming.
Bottom lane, Kunkka's wrapping around. They don't want Bane, they want the Bloodseeker, and they're going to get the Bloodseeker. The Shark eats him up, and a couple more auto attacks later. Hasbaz Rotten credit for the kill. That's a haste rune on Kunkka. Perfect rotation. There's no vision there for the Radiant side. They didn't have a clue. He just placed this ward right now. He's like, all right, maybe we should have a ward. Maybe even Bloodseeker calling him out for it, but either way, great, perfect timing rotation, that is, by the Kunkka to make that kill happen. So yeah, Bloodseeker, normally considered a pretty good lane dominator. That's one of the reasons you would think to pick up this hero. He's not really going so well. A couple of deaths, and he is behind CS, in fact, against the Centaur as of right now, at least. So yeah, not the ideal start for this Bloodseeker, and kind of leads to the point too. I'm sitting here thinking, what are we going to see on Bloodseeker this game? Because he is playing position 1. Is this going to even be more of like a Radiant style, we think, or will this be more just the Yasha, even than SNY early battle?
Honestly, it's been so long since I've seen the hero. I get the feeling that he might go for a Midas just because it's such a common item in this patch. But after that, I don't have any idea. They are finding the Centaur, however, here in this bottom lane.
Yeah, he was hoping no Vortex for Storm Spirit, but that not the case in that he actually had it leveled up. And Hasbaz Rotten goes down. Madara, credit for the kill on the Bloodseeker. So we'll get information soon enough, but yeah, interesting idea with the Hannah Midas.
Yeah, also, in that bottom lane kill that they got on the Bloodseeker, we did see the fact that Shadow Demon really just synergizes so well with this entire lineup. Because, you know, he also sets up for the Kunkka Torrent, which was, you know, we talked about it setting up for the hoof stop at the center, but it sets up for even more.
That's true, yeah. Both of those are very good abilities that are going to be setups for. So, yeah, Shadow the Demon definitely getting some extra value there. Kunkka is trying to build his drums. Speaking of him, Biver's also camping in the mid lane in case any action happens, but doesn't seem to be the case right now, so we'll still just chill there for the time being. Bottom lane, Bloodseeker back to farming. So, yes, it's been a bit of a rough start, but he got that kill. He's off into the jungle even a little bit. So, net worth-wise, he's got a good 600 or so gold over the Centaur. And he is level 6 now as well. So, this is where Centaur has to respect that. We mentioned the Stampede is good, but against Rupture, it's not necessarily the greatest, of course. You got to be careful. So, you can see he's respecting that. He's keeping his distance now.
Yeah, and with the Bane, they just have a really nice setup on the Centaur as well. You know, you can hold on to the Nightmare, or you can use it to set up for the Blood Right, as we saw initially. Or you know, you get that Rupture, you make sure to hold on to the Nightmare. So they have all sorts of combinations together here in this bottom lane. So Hasbaz, he's gonna get whatever he can when the creeps push into his tower, and then I expect he might look towards these easier to farm jungle camps.
Interesting smoke play. You had Shadow Demon in the trees smoking up Kunkka, and they're running bottom. They might find Bane. They're probably going to find Bane. Oh, where are they? You know what? It's a case that they don't even care. They want the Bloodseeker once again. And now Bloodseeker's like, okay, Kunkka's missing mid. I'm going to go hide in the trees.
Yeah, when your Storm Spirit's just hitting into the tier 1 mid and no one else shows, you know who they're making some sort of rotation. So really, really nice play by G-Pride. You know, good communication. Someone did call missing, and so Madara doesn't overextend, is able to keep alive and not have to leave the lane. Also, by the way, Invis Rune here on the Kunkka, but they know it's happened because they had it under a Warden Sentry. So Mastermind, they know exactly what he's planning.
Yeah, they're trying to act like they don't one of those deals. As a double damage rune spawns nearby. They are fighting at the rune, though. Going to go for the kill on Bane. Bane just going to live as long as he can. Make them work for it as the poison's adding up. So it's going to happen. It's just who gets the last hit. It will be Biver. on the Shadow Demon, making it happen. So there you go. But double damage bottled up in the meantime by Storm Spirit. So he just kind of walks away, and he's happy. He's, in fact, top net worth right now as he's working on that Kaya. So Dark Mago, he's got a fantastic start, really, for him. And it kind of goes back to this Radiant lineup and their draft as a whole. This is a fast lineup. They want to start fast. And really all three cores, even the Bloodseeker, are certainly doing that. And we actually get an answer to the Bloodseeker. He's going to go the Blade Mail. And I like that. I mean, it's definitely more the aggressive style early on build.
Yeah, I guess this is the item we used to see before. The first use of the Fiend's Rift here on the Centaur. And, oh, Dark Mago. Just more than enough magic damage.
Morphling? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
He's going to be fine, or is he? Storm wants this kill. He's using a lot of mana to get there. He pulls him in, so they're committing to it, and they are going to get it. Dark Mago gets a double kill out of it. That's a couple of cores going down for the side of Team Ham. Their first Rupture scene, as well as the Fiend's Grip, as you mentioned, and they both do wonders.
Yeah, Dark Mago, another great rotation for him. The first time he came to this bottom lane, they were able to get a kill on the Centaur, and now they're able to pick up two. And you know, we do see the utility. Rupture, I guess, good against Morphling, as well as the silence. Any sort of silence, great against him. So, yeah, it looks like G-Pride, their lineup is coming together. And honestly, you know, once they have the Kaya on the Storm Spirit, once they have the Blade Mail, I think they're going to try and go from kill to kill, because the sword is so close to his Blink Dagger. So he has the ability to burst, you know, these squishy supports in the backline. So let's say he's able to find the Warlock, remove him from fights. I think things could go very well for the side of G-Pride.
Yeah, Warlock sitting there with that Catacophery. He's actually just been camping middle this whole time, soaking up experience. So that's why he's actually just about to hit level 7, which, granted, he is the lowest level of the game right now, but that's where he's thankful, I suppose, that he was even able to get level 6 considering the state of the game right now. And he smokes up Kunkka once again. They're trying to get to the bottom lane. Sand King, though, with an Invis rune nearby, so it exposes them. They put down a sentry. Or no, they just put down an observer ward. It's actually right next to a sentry, which gets dewarded right away. This is an awkward gank at the bottom lane right now for Team Ham. Bloodseeker? Okay, well, he turns around with a Rupture. He actually got Shadow Demon purged right there. Well, he puts a Rupture up on a Kunkka. Kunkka has a ship. Can he get it off? Disruption comes out as the stun happens, but here comes a Catacophery now from Warlock. Morphling going on through as well. Slade in the Fatal Bonds. They get the couple of kills on both Sand King and Tiny. There's the team fight coming together now for the Dire. Just in time with Warlock.
Yeah, a great turnaround there. I'm a bit surprised that G-Pride went in because, you know, honestly, they kind of botched their initiation. They used the Purge with the Shadow Demon, but they didn't want to dive the tower. So it was G-Pride who looked to turn it around. And at really great praise for Skitter, by the way. I thought it was G-Pride who had that really good initiation, but it was actually Skitter who turned himself into the Sand King, had a great Burrow Strike as well as the Sandstorm. And it looks like they found even more Madara caught out.
Is he, though? He's running away. He's got that level 4 Thirst. He is running pretty damn fast. In fact, Storm Spirit is speaking of being fast. He's going fast. He's going to take a Hesto Rotten Mastermind, also getting Greylow in the midst of it, but they get the stun on a Storm Spirit. He got caught with that of all lightning ready, and he gets taken out. Also, nice stop on a Sand King's attempt at an Epicenter. The adaptive strike in the face from Skitter, making some big plays. Papita gets ruptured. He's just, all right, fight me, please. Trying to save his teammates. Shadow Word taking on Mastermind. Eventually wears off. The toss is not enough damage either, but Bloodseeker, he still wants this kill. Can he find it? Mastermind, he's going to go for the X. It's not in time, though. And Mastermind is indeed cleared out. Papita also, of course, killed off to the side. So another one of these just kind of chaotic fights that keep happening a little longer than you expect. At the end of it, G-Pride wins that.
The side of Ham, they successfully took the objective. They took the tier 1 tower, but I guess they just stick around a little bit too long. This Bloodseeker always tempting in the trees, and there is the reveal of your Blink Dagger on the Tiny with the Health of the Storm.
Yeah, that feels pretty good. Remember, an off-lane Tiny really is being the farm priority, so maybe not the most surprising to see him already to the Blink Dagger. In fact, he has another 1,000 or so gold saved up already. And good showing there, though, to take out Morphling, who has now suffered his 3rd death of the game. And you also see what Morphling is attempting to go for. He's going to try to go for an early Linkens. He's going to go right into it, even Brown Boots currently, with the triple Wraith bands that he has. So possibly see that whole Lincoln shotgun build with the Ethereal Blade even.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to build Lincolns this game. It's against the Bloodseeker. I think there was no doubt this was going to be the first item he goes for. And then I think it's as you say, when you go for this build, you go for the Ethereal Blade. And the Ethereal Blade, it's honestly really good versus the Storm as well as the Bloodseeker. They're heroes who most of their damage comes from hitting you. I know you think of Storm as a magical damage hero, but most of his magical damage is coming from those overload procs. So he has to be able to hit you to use them. So that's why the Ethereal Blade is so good versus him.
Tiny?
So, yeah.
He gets found. Soul Catcher's up. The Disruption to Star Sword. He's sounding his ground. Remember, the Soul Catcher buff wears off. He's going to get some life from it. Oh, it almost wore off right there, actually. And again, with the Pursue, I don't think he's actually getting away in the end. So a good find from Team Ham in their own jungle. They buy some more time for Morphling to work towards that important Lincolns as you're talking about. Storm Spirit, he's still chilling around at the top lane. It's a Centaur. It's not an easy kill. Maybe going to wait for him to go away, or he's just going to TP elsewhere and look to farm and figure it's not worth the wait. He does have an Orchid queued up, at least, and he is almost there. He's already built components of it with the Cayenne hand first. So this Storm Spirit is certainly on track to get it out of hand as a help for his bottom lane, by the way. This is going to be Sladen going for the Epicenter. Good job with the Disruption. Here comes the Counter Shark, a.k.a. the Ghost Ship, but Morphling still dies. The Blood Right hits, and he just melts right there. So the Disruption was a good idea initially for a turn. Doesn't end up working out for the Morphling.
Yeah, he actually in a way set up for the Bloodseeker. But, you know, we do see they... honestly, the side of G-Pride, I really think their thinking is that Morphling is the win condition for the side of Team Ham. How can we counter a Morphling? Heavy burst damage coming from the Tiny, this silence as well as the Bloodseeker. And now they're able to find even more kills. The Sword Amy, he's just been doing so well for himself. He was #1 net worth for a while. Obviously, he's fallen off because they've given more space to the Bloodseeker as well as the Storm. But, you know, the aggression, it just doesn't relent. And the side of G-Pride, they're now up to a 5k gold lead, which isn't too shabby this early on.
Yeah, that's really good, especially considering their lineup. I go back to, this is a lineup that wanted to start fast, and when you have a 5,000 net worth lead at 17.5 minutes, I would call it a pretty fast start. So that on top of Morphling getting in a bit of a struggle spot now. I think the Lincoln's is finished. I want to say, is it on the no? Not Courier yet. So, oh, you know what? He finished Power Treads actually. Okay, so he's still actually a ways off of the Lincolns. He had decided to just finish the Power Treads for now, just for a bit more survivability in the meantime. But that really does show you how he's a bit behind.
Yeah, this Morphling is in Struggle City, population Morphling. You know, he's died 4 times, so that's really what set him back. Because usually as a Morphling, you know, you might die once or twice at, you know, the early levels before you have 4 points in the Morph, but they're really focusing him. And, you know, I think that's exactly the right thing to do, because Kunkka, usually he can carry the mid game, but he can't carry the late game because he is going to just end up getting controlled. And he outputs a lot of damage with the Tidebringer, but once that's over, once you're on top of him, he's going to be in trouble. But
yeah,
they have shut down this Morphling, and I think that's a really good job by G-Pride, identifying their win condition. And I think they should just continue to look to fight once they have this Orchid on the Storm. And now they have it, I think they need some sort of nice reveal.
They're going right for the top lane, so they're right on cue here, Hasbaz, and they're going to go for Centaur. With the Fiend's Grip opening, it's going to be stopped by Disruption, but there's plenty more here. Remember, Sword, he's looking for another target. No, he's going to jump in on the Hestro run. He got stopped by the Host Stomp, though. As he went in, the Sword, or the Shark coming out as well, on top of the Chaotic Offering, and it's turned central in favor of Team Ham. Sword eventually goes down with the Demonic Purge as well. It comes over the Epicenter, though. The Orchid silence on a Kunkka as Storm Spirit doing his thing now, flying around with the Ball Lightning, gets the Kona Kunkka. Shadow Demon dead as well. It's a 2-for-2 so far. Pepito's run down with the Bloodseeker. No, he doesn't even have Blade Mail. I thought that's not activated there, but he decides to go a different direction. Point is triple kill for Dark Mago, as now Skitter in the midst of this as the morphed Sand King is trying to just survive, maybe even make a play here. No, he can't get the stun in time. And so numbers-wise, it was 4 for 3 to favor Gorillaz-Pride. And they do come out up top slightly with the gold change, but it actually wasn't as dominating of a turn that it maybe looked like for Gorillaz-Pride. I mean, obviously everything used, though, by Team Ham at the same time.
Yeah, the side of Team Ham, it looked like they were going to be able to make a great turnaround play play. Interesting enough, the Tiny, when he went in, he went for the toss before the Avalanche, and it meant they were able to get the disruption as well as the Golem coming out from the Warlock. So it really did look a little bit dire. And the Morphling, every time he's been making really good plays, turning into Skitter, getting those good burrow strikes, but you know, he just hasn't. Sorry, Skitter turning into Slardin, getting those good burrow strikes as well as the Sandstorm. But you know, this Bloodseeker as well as the Storm Spirit, they were just able to mop everyone else up. And Bloodseeker, it looks like he did decide for that greedy Radiance. Already got that completed, and how ahead he was, I can't say I blame him.
Yeah, and that kind of. I swore I saw the Blade Mail animation last fight, so I was just figuring that he had, but then I clicked on him for a second. I noticed I saw the Sacred Relic at that point. So yeah, he does go the full Radiance, and he's just going to progress from here. He's looking for a BKB next, which certainly is a great item to have against this lineup, and something that he'll love to have. But yeah, because he has this early start, I suppose you could argue both ways there, like because of the early start and the fast pace, that's where Blade Mail would be really good still, but it's kind of the safety net, right? It's if this game takes a little bit longer, then he's going to have a Radiance going through it. Hesed or Rotten, by the way. He tries to TP. It gets canceled immediately, and he's out for 45 seconds now. So easy find there for Gorillaz-Pride in their own jungle, in fact. And they are hunting for more. Bane leading the way.
Yeah, while that engagement was happening on the Centaur, the Bane, he slept up the Disruptor, I think it was, and then Fiends gripped the Kunkka, hoping the rest of his team would come, but they were busy killing the Centaur somewhere else, so they weren't going to follow through with that initiation. You
know what? That's still good 5+ seconds of lockdown on 2 heroes in the meantime, as Storm Spirit, oh my god, he's dead. That's Shadow Demon right there. A level 4 Soul Catcher. He finds the Storm Spirit, and of course Kunkka's there for assisted damage too, but yeah, that's a glimpse as far as what Shadow Demon can bring to the table.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught the beginning of that initiation, but the Storm Spirit had actually found an Invis rune, thought he was safe on the high ground getting vision, had no idea about this entry, which set up for the kill.
That's right, yeah, he walked right past the sentry, didn't he? So, found there in a smoke play. Now coming out from Team Ham, the 4 of them at least. Morphling, the only one not in it. He's still trying to finish that ultimate orb to pick up the Lincolns. And is around the corner now. Ham going to hunt in the wrong direction, unfortunately for them. Don't think they're going to find anyone here in the Radiant jungle, as you see them walking through. BKB is finished on Kunkka, though. Talking about some progress being made. Tiny does have the Echo Saber finish. Currently doesn't have anything queued up for the Yags. Just going to go more the classic route, I guess you could say, of just get raw damage instead. Don't even worry about getting the Yags. Just get right-click damage.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for the Shadow Blade, just even more initiation. Hopefully find the Morphling before he's able to set up, get that Strength Morph up. And, you know, once you have that Daedalus, you can go into the Ags later. It just means you'll wait a little bit for those AoE crits just to increase your burst. And I can't say I blame him.
Bane. Fiend's Grip ready. We're going to have some kind of an initiation right here. Kunkka, there's a Fiend's Grip opening, but Centaur's there immediately. Rupture is applied on top of the Orchid. Good job with the disruption, though. It stops a lot right here. Soul Catcher applied a Sword now in the response. Centaur slept up in the meantime, way in the back lines, but Sword's going to fall for Tiny. We're playing that Tiny, that is. And now Skitter's trying to catch up with the Bloodseeker, the TP out. Oh, the Chaotic Offering committed for it, but I would say worth it, especially with an objective after the fact. Yeah, he's dead for 50 seconds. And they are also going to take out this Tier 1 tower, so Ham wins that exchange right there as a smoke play attempted by Gorillaz-Pride. Doesn't work out too well.
Yeah, the side of Team Ham, they seem to know exactly what was happening. They were baiting their Kunkka in the mid lane. They had both the Centaur and the Shadow Demon set up. You saw that Fiend's Grip cancel the miss instantly by the Centaur, jumping in on the battle line, finding the Bane, and even they committed further to the Kunkka after that, so that's where the disruption came in. So great play by the side of Team Ham, baiting them out, chasing for more, and getting objectives and big kills from it.
Yeah, Shadow Demon with the casual Aether Lens. That's a casual that really is good synergy with his abilities. Disruption especially, you look at the range that he has now on that to be able to cast from, and especially Poison too, actually. Really, really good. And I think, did Viper just get a Blink Dagger? I saw it on the career, I think. Yeah, that's his Blink Dagger. So Viper certainly has a lot of reach now. There's also a good reaction with the disruption, and it's something that will be an issue for Gorillaz-Pride, having to adjust to a Centaur with a pipe on top of it as well. So they have a lot of response. They got the Stampede. And now you do have the Lincolns finished on Morphling, working towards that shotgun. So as impressive as this early start has been for Gorillaz-Pride, doesn't seem like they did enough to really lock down Team Ham, and now we are starting entering more of that mid-game where Ham has plenty of recovery chance.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I thought they would, just continue their aggression. You've got the Orchid on the Storm Spirit. This item, it's not built for farming. It's built for getting kills. The Tiny, his Echo Saber has burst damage. I thought that, I really thought they'd just be looking for kills, trying to use Rupture off cooldown, but they've had a few bad fights. Top lane didn't totally go their way. This mid lane didn't quite work out, and now it just seems they're skittish to initiate on the Dire side, and this is letting Morphling recover, get up to that point, which they didn't want to let him get to, which is why they invested so much in keeping Skitter down. But now with its Lincolns,
it got popped right there by the Orchid. So did they not realize? I don't know if I think they just didn't realize it, or maybe they tried to. Because you'd probably want an Orchid instead of the Electric Vortex, right? So.
Well, I mean, either way, they were a little bit slow, so he got off the Strength Morph. So I don't think it really matters what one you get. What lasts longer, actually? Whichever one lasts longer.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the Orchid's like twice as long, so.
Yeah. So you probably want to initiate with the Electric Vortex and get the Orchid in, but it doesn't matter. Maybe even a turnaround here.
Oh, yeah, so I was watching the mid lane, actually, but Dark Mega goes down, so does Sladen. Talk about a turnaround for the Dire team. Dominating now for Skitter after doing what he did just right there. And another 3,600 gold saved up, so he's actually going to pick up an Eagle Song. And that shotgun is very real now. So, yeah, the tides are certainly turning, going the way of Team Ham at this point, it feels like. And you also look back at Bloodseeker, who, sure, he has a BKB now to go with that Radiance, but the Radiance took a little bit longer to come online than something like that Blade Mails we're talking about. And now you're contesting with a Morph lane that suddenly is a lot more ready to fight and willing to fight even.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
Skitter, he finally seems to have come online. He's that Lincoln's, saving his life as well as his fast fingers in the bottom lane, because the Electric Vortex, it didn't take that long after the Orchid. But yeah, he's going to have this Ethereal Blade very, very soon, and then the burst damage of Morphling is nothing to be trifled with. They are closing in on this gap, and Mastermind, he's almost actually at his own Radiance. This is, so they are scaling into late game here very hard on Team Ham, and I have to wonder, G-Pride, have they missed their timing? Have these few ganks that have been turned around, the deaths on the Storm Spirit really started to bite them?
Very interesting Radiance choice on Kunkka. Not usually the direction you see a Kunkka go when he's trying to build into damage, of course, but Warlock, by the way, going to be caught. The Orchid follow-up to the Burrow Strike's done, and they do find the free kill. Ooh, that was a really close call there. They almost caught Morphling with the Avalanche, but he TP's out in time. And at least it was just Warlock. If you're Team Ham, you don't mind that too much. It allows everyone else to get away. The Burrow Strike just south. However, the Yules will connect. So Biver now in a dangerous spot. Likely in a bad spot of going to be dying sooner unless the blink. He had time to blink there, it looked like. Oh, man, he went for the disruption instead.
Yeah, his Blink Dagger definitely came off cooldown, but I think he expected them to hit him instead of it juking be so successful, so that's why he went for the disruption. But unfortunately for him, I think it was the Caustic Finale popped before he was able to get that Blink after the disruption. So two good, decent kills there for the side of G-Pride. This is the aggression that they need to continue. It honestly feels like it's been an absolute age since I've seen Madara use this Rupture. It's an ultimate with not that long a cooldown, and it's so effective at getting you kills. You really want to use it more often.
Yeah. Yeah, it's trying to get to level 20, and curious to see what he goes for there. I mean, the cast range on Rupture is certainly pretty solid, but with the way he's building now and the way this game is starting to develop, and the 25% lifesteal also sounds pretty damn good. So keep an eye on that for Bloodseeker, what he chooses to get. I mean, I go back to this Radiance on Kunkka, though. Again, not suggesting it's a bad choice. It's just this isn't your Shadow Blade Daedalus build, right? That's the way you usually expect to see if you want it to be more of this heavy burst damage. But I suppose this is just, it's bringing more sustain to the table, and will deactivate Blink Daggers, which he has obviously on the Sand King and the Tiny. So maybe another reason why he likes the choice of the Radiance Burn.
Well, I think the thing is, Mastermind is he's just going to be another tanky hero in the fight. They, you know, the damage output for the side of G-Pride, it's kind of bursty, but up to a point. There's an end limit on it because it's you know, the magic damage from the tiny, it's not going to start scaling past this early phase. So you're just going to be able to survive through the burst, have that radiance burn continuously hitting people, and you can see he's even going for a heart. They just want to sustain. They want these long fights to be able to win.
Well, they're going to get a fight right here. Sleep on a Kunkka, but he also got ruptured at the same time. Now he's battling with Madara, but Mastermind is holding his ground. Stampede going to be activated off to the right-hand side. Skitter, he morphs into the Storm Spirit, it looks like, using the Vortex against Storm Spirit. So Dark Mango, he's trying to run away, but the Adaptive Strike eventually connects for the kill. Tiny to the north of us, he's going to get comboed as well by Kunkka, and suddenly 4 heroes are dead on the side of Gorillaz-Pride as soon as Tiny actually falls, and there we go. Bloodseeker, he TP'd bottom. He got out of there pretty quickly, realizing that it was going to be a lost cause. Did not want to stick around much longer, so a 4-0 turn favoring Team Ham, and that should mean a pretty easy Roshan, and I think it's absolutely safe to say now this is a game that Team Ham is in the favored spot in.
Yeah, I'm very afraid for the side of G-Pride. I think fights, big 5 versus 5 fights are going to continue to go that way. I mean, it looks pretty decent. You know, you get a rupture on one of those big cores, but, you know, it's the Kunkka. He's more than happy to just stand in your face and fight you. And everyone else, the Centaur, you know, he hasn't been ruptured, so he's going to use his Blink Tank. He's going to offer that control. The Storm Turret did a good job of zipping to the back line, trying to kill off the Shadow Demon, but they overcommitted for it, and it meant, you know, there was the counter initiation of the Golem on top of the Storm Turret as well as the Timey, and it just and Skitter's going to just output all the damage while you're controlled by the Warlock. And unfortunately for the side of G-Pride, fights are no longer going their way, but it looks like they're not giving up just yet. They want to see if they can take a successful engagement.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't a give-up place by any means, but it's certainly swaying quite a bit, favoring the Ham at this point of the game. But Gorillaz-Pride, they're going to go for an opening as far as Dark Mango thinks they have one. He's zip-zapping around. Lotus Sword makes it difficult, though, that with the Ghost Scepter being applied thanks to Morphling, and so really no chance to kill the Warlock there. Who has I'm guessing a Centaur? Yeah, so Centaur with a Lotus Orb on top of the pipe now. And another nice defensive tool that they have to take advantage of. So the whole Gorillaz-Pride having the idea of being able to find some of these solo pickoffs, that's where I think you got to give credit to Ham as well. They've been sticking together a lot lately. And they're not giving them those choices, those options to go for some free picks. So certainly credit to the Dire team.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly like when they saw the Kunkka in the mid lane. You know, they're willing to pretend that someone's alone. Like, you see Skitter. Well, oh, Skitter, it's the Morphling. He's alone. But no, the rest of his team, they're sitting behind him. They're by the shrine. They are ready to defend him if you go for him. So they're not feeding the side of G-Pride, which are a pick-off-based lineup. That's what Storm Spirit thrives on. You know, he got very ahead early here on Dark Mago, so he went for the Orchid, which allows him to get more pickoffs. But he hasn't really been able to make use of it because no one from the side of Team Ham are alone, exactly as you say.
Tiny's been chilling down here. He actually just got level 18. But he's been sitting here with an Invis rune, and he's like, somebody's got to farm this soon, right? So, in fact, it gets pinged out by Warlock, and the Dire team is making their way over, but it depends on how patient Sword is going to be. And also, goes back to the point that just because it's one of them doesn't mean, oh, in fact, they're going to get scanned. Wow. What a scam by the Dire side. They realize, too, that this is just being left alone. And Shadowblade activated. Do they have vision? No. He blinks away. The vision comes late. No, does it, though. They catch Sword with a great torrent placement from Masterminds. And they're eventually going to run him down. So we're sitting here thinking Sword may eventually get a kill with some patience. Turns out the patience ends up killing him.
Yeah, I mean, I think this really shows that the side of Team Ham, you know, not just how good they are on their mechanical plays, but how they're thinking about the game. They're like, this wave is pushing in. Oh, we'll watch this fight in the top lane, however.
Shadow Demon gets picked off. Centaur, he's going to be Fiend's Grip as he lands the hoofstop, though. The combo coming out from Kunkka with the ship. The BKB activated from Madara. Trying to run away. Chaotic Offering, of course, stunning through. Madara is just simply trying to run the best that he can as that Bloodseeker, as Morphling's in pursuit. Hoping to catch it. The way for the perfect placement in the burst. No, he can't get it in time. He didn't have the cooldown with the Ethereal Blade. He did have Adaptive Strike, but again, not in time as they at least find a Bane kill off in the distance. So a 2-for-1 to favor the Dire team. Aegis It's still on him for another minute and a half here for Skitter. So they can still play aggressive. In fact, he's going to wait for a 4. They want Dark Mago. That's not going to happen, though.
Yeah, so just as I was praising Ham, you know, it's their understanding of the game, you know, what's going on. They knew this lane was pushing in. They realized no one from G-Pride is showing. So they go for that scan, a really heads-up scan, catches someone in the trees, and then just that's when their mechanical skill starts to take off. You know, Mastermind, he goes for the blind torrent. Obviously, they do eventually get the vision of the Shadow Poison, but not quick enough before the torrent connects. So great work there for the side of Team Ham, and also nice response to this fight over here in the top lane. Just everyone TPing to the shrine, sticking together, not giving G-Pride pickoffs.
Sladen might be in trouble. There's a dust. He blinks away immediately. So allowing him to react and get out of there. He's got a 4 staff as well, by the way, so some nice utility he's bringing to the team in this game. I mean, I keep looking at the net worth of Bloodseeker, and I'm sitting here saying, man, it just doesn't translate like it does on the Morphling. The fact that he's like right next to the Morphling in net worth, I'm a lot more worried about that Morphling than I am this Bloodseeker. It's just, he's got a Manta style now, which is great. He's going for a Basher, but it just doesn't seem like he can stand in these fights. I mean, even at nearly 2,800 life, we saw the last fight, he took a chunk of damage, and he had to pretty much run the whole time.
I mean, that is exactly the issue. He cannot stand in these fights. He can't man fight the Kunkka. He can't man fight the Morphling. And so, you know, what does it matter, the fact that you have a Radiance that outputs more damage because you have the Blood Rage? The Blood Rage, it's amplifying your own damage. So, you know, you take a unlucky Tidebringer, it does so much. You take the Ethereal Blade for the Morphling. You know, you're sitting at very, very low health. So the Radiance is an item that thrives on you staying in the fights for a while. But the Bloodseeker, he's not far ahead to be able to stand in these fights. And in fact, he's not able to, has to just run away most of the time after he takes some straight AoE.
Storm and Sand King just chilling up here. They were not spotted. I thought I might have seen a ping from the Dire team, but not going to make their way all the way up there. Sladen's going to continue to be very sneaky as he goes more to the right. However, Dark Mago gets caught. Oh, man. Centaur catches him with the hoof stomp. That's one of those wind-up stuns that you figure it's going to be difficult to catch a hero like Storm Spirit, but he just was not paying enough attention. And he's out for 75 seconds.
This Dire Ward paying off in spades. They just had vision of the Morphling farming this camp, and enough heroes to be able to quickly burst down the Storm Spirit.
What's a Bloodstone at, by the way? It's at 10 charges, so yeah, he's lost already 4 charges on it.
It's, you know, it's really like you say, I'm just thinking about Madara down here. He's forced to pop his BKB and TP out. Golem!
The Golem catches, yep. Absolutely worth it. He's going to put the Rupture on Skitter, but Skitter just laughs it off. He's like, fine, I'll just kill you anyways. Well, he's trying to at least. He goes into Bloodseeker, puts a Blood right down, and eventually will connect for the kill. So, well played there. Yeah, Chaotic Offer. That's the second time we've seen that, to stop a TP on Bloodseeker specifically. This time even with the BKB. Again, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's honestly just so worth it. I was, you know, I was just thinking about Madara, just thinking about what can he do in this game. He is the carry. He's keeping up in farm. Is there an item? Is there a way to play the game that he really helps his side win? And honestly, at this stage, he just doesn't feel like it. Just even standing there with the BKB, they seem to have the answers.
So we see the sieging beginning now, in this case for the Dire team, as Storm Spirit flies on through, trying to distract the best that he can, but they don't really, they're not even phased by it. They kind of just let him do his thing. As buyback on Bloodseeker with Storm flying through and TPing back. So he's can only do that once, though. They don't have any quirky strategy. They don't have like the Kunkka Storm Spirit synergy to be able to spam that over and over again with TPing back. But either way, it's enough to hold right now that the buyback keeps the racks alive. And it will mean Team Ham is going to fall back. And again, 6,000 net worth lead. We're not talking about a ridiculous, overwhelming lead by any means, but it's when you look at the overall picture of this game, it certainly feels like Team Ham is in a much better spot than that gives them credit for. In fact, you look at the win probability according to Dota Plus, and we're at 82% right now for the Dire, and that sounds about right. That sounds about a good spot to be in.
Yeah, it's, for the side of Team Ham, I'm, you know, you're totally right. The net worth isn't that crazy, but when you're the lineup that scales harder into the late game, when you've gone these items like the Radiant's Heart over on Mastermind. He has 4.5k health,
Jeez.
and G-Pride, they were struggling to kill him off before. They just did not have the control or the damage to handle these heroes. And, you know, it's for the side of Team Ham, it honestly feels like they're just whipping out the honey mustard to apply to G-Pride before they roast them.
Dang.
I'll take
Love
your
them honey
tip.
mustard there. As Roshan, it's going to be about a minute and a half before the respawn, so they check it, but as we see, it's not going to be very soon. So Kunkka, another 1,600 gold even saved up. Storm Spirit, oh, I thought that might have been an enemy there, but no, Sand King's moving on through with his Invis rune. Storm just doing his part to keep the lanes pushed out. But I'm sure we'll see Team Ham just kind of control, as they're doing here. They get some counter wards in, control the side of the map, wait for next Roshan, and then look to complete that. Is interesting theme so far today that's kind of just hitting me. We really haven't seen a lot of Roshans in general. In fact, we've only made it to 2 Roshans for all 4 of our games. This would be the 4th one at least. No 3rd Roshan yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of a symptom of the lineups we've been seeing. They've been geared around taking different objectives. You do need a certain lineup that leads you into the ability to take Rosh or at least some minus armor. But the side of G-Pride, they're doing a very good job of keeping up on their farm. Like, considering how the past 20 minutes feel like they've been going, it feels like G-Pride, they've never got a successful fight to themselves. The net worth lead is nowhere near as bad as it could be. But with Rosh respawning in about 30 seconds, I think we are going to see what could very well be the last few minutes as soon as Team Ham scout it out.
You can tell Team Ham wants to do it. I mean, Kunkka's just dancing around in the Roshan pit, hoping to summon the beast himself, but not going to happen for another 5 more seconds. If they check once again here, then they should realize that it's up, and Kunkka's heading right back that direction. And, oh, he doesn't actually go inside the pit. So he gets a regen rune that happened to spawn. They're going to also go for the bottom rune, which happens to be an arcane rune. And that's one that Shadow Demon will pick up. So no one knows that Roshan's 100% up just yet, as they haven't gotten vision of it. But once the Dire team specifically does, I'm sure Team Ham will make that a priority. But Sand King is pushing top in the meantime. Storm Spirit's pushing bottom. So Gorillaz-Pride certainly doing what they need to be doing to actually keep themselves in this game. And I mean, I go back to the overall net worth is it's only 4,000. This is still not a running away game, although it feels like Team Ham is in a secured spot. Certainly still chance for the Radiant. In fact, Sand King, okay, the dust gets there. He's now caught. He's going to go for the TP play. It ain't happening. Morphling catches up to him and secures the kill. And they ping Roshan right away. So now with Sand King dead, he has a buyback, but they are going to at least try to force it.
Yeah, that entrance kill, that's exactly what you want before you go into the Roshan pit. It looks like they're looking for more because they assume the side of G-Pride, they're going to gear up to defend the Roshan, assuming that the entirety of Team Ham have gone into it. And it looks like they might be able to get that other kill. Jericho, the torrent, no, it's not going to connect. So they will just settle for Roshan, which Skitter started by himself, apparently.
So Ags picked up by Bloodseeker. I don't know. I don't get it. I'm just going to be honest. It doesn't feel like Rupture's really a threat this game. And I understand the idea against like maybe a Morphling or even the Centaur Stampede, but we're at 45 minutes into the game almost, and Centaur doesn't care. Like, he's so tanky anyways. Everyone on this team, hold that thought, because Aegis isn't going to be picked up by Skitter, but a jump in from Sword, he tried to steal it. Okay, he does get out. Wow. I did not expect that to come, and neither did Team Ham, but it still works out for them. But, yeah, it goes back to the point, though. It just seems like they could have used, I guess, more, maybe like a Butterfly? I don't know, though. It's not a great game, I suppose, for him in general.
Well, I think you're totally right, Madara. He needs to become a right-clicking carry. You know, just staying alive in these fights, using the Radiance. I don't think your spells are doing quite enough, considering the Dire lineup have BKBs, and as well as the Lincolns on the Morphling. I mean, sure, you can... I mean, you actually can't instantly double Rupture. You know, he kind of got buffed/nerfed in a way. You know, you can't just quickly double press your Rupture on the Morphling. So he'll be able to happily get away from that one. And, you know, Skitter, he demonstrated very well in the bottom lane in the engagement where he won on what was, you know, where they used the Golem on the BKB Bloodseeker that, you know, you Rupture at the Morphling, he'll just walk towards you while he's Strength Morphing. He doesn't care. He'll lose no effective HP, and he even has the Aegis. I think I definitely believe that Madara should have gone for a more right-click heavy build instead of capitalizing on the magic. And he's even going for the Octarine, and I just don't think it's right. You know, this magic damage, it falls off. They have BKB to deal with your spells, and you know, it just you and Stormspirit. You know, you have to be the physical damage. And you know, I guess he's relying on the sword to be able to do it, but
no, Tiny's going for Octarine Core as well. I was going to make that point too, but I just looked at Tiny, and at least right now what he has queued up, yeah, he's like, if he was going for like this Daedalus and you know, even like an AC perhaps, then okay, but Bloodseeker, by the way, okay, he's actually going to be fine because Shadow Demon gets jumped by Sword, but now Sword is just going to TP out with the BKB himself as well, so very interesting exchange there. Did require the BKB, but at least manages to get away. Yeah, definitely deserves a tip, because if he doesn't stun right as he does, then Disruption comes out and Bloodseeker might be dead, so at least keeps himself alive. Did I just see another Ags pick up, by the way? Yeah, Centaur just got it.
Okay, so another classic Ags upgrade. This is going to help them even further. So you were talking about that Stampede, you know, not being great with Rupture. Now the damage you're taking from it mitigated even further. And I just think the itemization of Team Ham has just been so good. It's really enabled them to scale well into this game. You know, we kind of questioned Mastermind's Radiance, but the fact that he could just be this insanely tanky frontliner who's also offering more control with this Scythe of Ice, you know, you might use your spells over on the Morphling, but you're going to be continually taking this Radiance damage, and now there's the reveal of the Hex.
Yeah, he did not expect a Scythe. The Yules keeping him alive for now. The Torrent timing was perfect, though, and Skitter morphing into the Sand King and getting the kill as a result. He has a buyback as Bane chased into the base. He's going to be fine. Rupture applied to Kunkka. I suppose a Fiend's Grip, but he's fine. I mean, they're not going to commit to that. In fact, Morphling just says, all right, you want to keep fighting? Let's go. He takes out the Bane. It was just a little too far up there. Buys back immediately, by the way. And again, you look at Storm Spirit, though, he just continues to push out mid. It's a lot of evading going on from Gorillaz-Pride, at least the best they can, kind of distracting. Hey, you know what? As long as their base is alive, and especially they haven't even lost a single Rax yet, it is hard to count out a team that hasn't even lost a single set of Rax yet at this point. So.
Yeah, for the side of G-Pride, you know, they've identified what they have to do to at least remain in this game for as long as possible. Their split push is absolutely incredible. You know, Dark Mago, he's gone for the Boots of Travel. So, you know, you said you can't do the zip TP as often as you want. You can't cheese it. But he can at least do it twice every, you know, 40-odd seconds. And the Tiny of Sword, you know, is applying great split push pressure. You look at the lanes for the side of Team Ham, and they really do not have them under control.
Seeing more level 25s popping up as well, just going through, seeing what we're dealing with. You do have the Ghost Ship fleet on Kunkka now picked up, so a lot more crowd control to be had when these fights do eventually break out. A Sword pushing out bottom. Who's that moving over? That would be Centaur. He missed the hoof stomp. He went for it and he missed. And does Sword even know? I don't even Sword even knows that he was there. Yeah, he just goes in and kills the tower. He's going to Shadow Blade backwards, and Hesto Ron's just still chilling here. Blinks forward, but can't find him. And that Shadow Blade going to wear off.
The ratting done by the side of G-Pride, it's, you know, it's managed to result in an objective in the tier 3. The net worth, they're managing to keep it in their favor. And remember, this is the Aegis period for the side of Team Ham. Oh, actually, no, Aegis already expired, so the split push they've been able to apply, the defensive moves here by Dark Mago, pushing out the waves, really paying off, and it's allowed him to get all this farm. He even has a Scythe of Ice, so even more items to break the Lincoln Sphere of the Morphling. You know, while you're zipping towards him, you can queue up the Orchid into the Hex to instantly break that Orphan Skitter, so, you know, they might be able to get that kill.
I mean, they're certainly going to have the lockdown. They keep on addressing that. We goes back to the build, like the Octarine Core on Tiny even. Crowd control is definitely not going to be a concern for this Radiant team. It's just a matter, will they have the damage enough to take out said targets that are in said crowd control before the response happens. And that's where heroes like Shadow Demon are a pretty big deal, again, with the disruption. And, well, disrupting your initiation there. So Morphling also now having a Satanic. Fact that he's got that status resistance to work with, as well as a lifesteal and activation. We are going to hit a pause here from Bane as we're now 15 minutes into this game, and so the 5,000 net worth lead slight for Team Ham, but yeah, maybe not as certain as we were, say, 10 minutes ago. In fact, the win probability also going down slightly, as it's down to 74% chance now.
Yeah, the side of Team Ham, they feel strong enough to take the fights, and I don't doubt if there was a 5v5 team fight, they would win it. But G-Pride, they realize this as well. They know if there's a 5v fight, they can't win it, so they're not taking it. They are just devoted absolutely to the split push. And it's definitely paying off because it's keeping this net worth lead down. It's allowing them to get to this other tier of items. I mean, the Sword can buy this full Octarine core if that's what he wants. The Storm Spirit, you know, he's got that Hex as well as sitting on 4,000 gold. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bloodseeker's looking at another great item. And it's the Octarine core that we've already discussed about how much we dislike it.
No. Well, point is still certainly in the game, and this goes back to the buildings being up is what really matters too. And they have that going for them. So the third Roshan, you would think is going to have to be the pretty big deal in this game right now, because not only is that either the Ags or the Refresher Shard, but on top of that, it seems like the entire team is, of course, more controlling the map right now, and it's going to force Gorillaz-Pride to likely react to it. So we'll probably be waiting at least a couple of minutes or so before that could potentially be happening. There's a minute and a half remaining before the eventual possible respawn at least, but in the meantime, gotta do something, and Skitter, he's busy going to the bottom lane, trying to figure out where to go as Kunkka takes some farm down here. Morphling attempting to get a Moon Shard. Yeah, you look at his inventory, it is pretty full, so figures I might as well get a Moon Shard and get more damage on myself. Hell, he could even go for an Ags eventually if he wants to. Put the passive on himself.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about the Ags and what kind of heroes he could go for. Most fights, it looks like he is going for the tanking, and you know that's a pretty good hero to steal the Ags. True. Because you know you'll get the upgraded Burrow Strike when you have that Aghanims, as well as the decreased cooldown. So just Skitter will get to offer even more control.
I'm actually looking at Brain Sap from Bane, man. You get the Ags on Morphling, could become a brain sapping machine. Now that would be a little funky though. I do think the Sand King certainly is one to think about. You don't get new abilities, right? So like Tiny, he would not get the Tree Assault. I don't believe.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. No, you don't.
Okay.
You're correct in saying you don't get the new abilities. But in the top lane, it looks like we're having a fight after a long period of time. Is anyone going to go down?
Well, there's a Stampede. I mean, they went for Centaur initially, and that's probably the worst target, remember. In fact, Hex on to Bane, so the answer is yes. And Bane is the victim. But you know what? Gorillaz-Pride, honestly, that's really not a big deal for them. To lose Bane and still be pushing out both bottom and mid. Certainly, you could argue that they won that exchange right there to an extent. But by the way, I just saw that Roshan timer. It's essentially about a 5 or 6 second Roshan respawn that we're having here. So it's going to be very quick.
Yeah, and you know, we might actually see that Aghanims upgrade. And talking of that Warlock, he has that queued up for himself. But if they are able to take this next Roshan, maybe he might just get a free one. And he's well on his way to level 25 thanks to that 60% experience game talent he gets at level 15. But, you know, this engagement in the top lane, the side of G-Pride, they go on this tanky Centaur, so he's going to live forever. This allows them to get the counter initiation of the disruption on him once again, and they're the ones who lose heroes. I mean, sure, they leave very quickly, but still, you take the initiation, you're not able to win the fights. So I think they should just honestly keep to their split push game. But, you know, split pushing can't win the game for you unless you're fully able to take towers, and I don't know when that tide turns for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. They're going to need some kind of pickoffs, and for a game that just had crazy action, as all these games have really had for the first 20 to 30 minutes, it certainly has stalled a bit since then. But we do see Kunkka in the area. He is going to check it. Oh, I mean, he went in. No ping's coming out, though. Did he just not see it, or is he not informing the team? That's curious. I don't know if he actually saw it, because you would expect at least a ping to come out, but obviously they could just be communicating amongst themselves. I don't know. I don't know what to think if they actually don't know if it's up yet. So we'll see. They start moving over.
Well, this Roshan it is a refresher orb Roshan, which, you know, it's still pretty nice. All these items on the Warlock. Or double Stampede. I think double Golem's a little bit more impactful. And it looks like they are just going to go for the Rosh Pit. G-Pride, they should figure out this is happening because of the pressure they're putting on in these lanes when no one from the side of Team Ham comes to stop it. But they do take this so damn fast that I don't think there's any way to stop this.
Yeah. It's, well, you know, they really don't take it fast, to be honest. This is actually a pretty slow Roshan killing team. In fact, it's still at half-life, really. And the Dire team, I'm not sure what they're doing. They don't actually see them, so...
Yeah, they're just not committing to the Roshan. I think they were trying to bait out the Tiny once again, you know, assuming he'll go for this. But they're now set up for this.
Yeah, this just looks really funky for us because we see what's going on, but the Team Ham is playing this very cautious, and oh boy, another pause.
By the way, I don't know if you've noticed the Storm Spirit here in the top lane.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, they see this happening. They also saw, I think it might have been Sanking up here earlier as well. So they're like very hesitant. Okay, do we go? But then they start missing, and so now they just see him zap in. But they're not gonna get Roshan, I don't think. I think they're gonna start falling back. In fact, I think somebody's TPing in even to the base. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it looks like it's Warlock. He's going to the mid lane. I assume Storm Spirit, is he TPing? No, he's not. He is actually fighting. Can they maybe catch him somehow? Chaotic Offering ready, but no, he's just too slippery. So yeah, Roshan is going to survive for now. And the split pushing is continuing to be the way Gorillaz-Pride has a chance in this game.
Yeah, this is honestly a real problem for the side of Ham. They have to get their lanes under control because it means, you know, they can't go for Roshan, they can't go for objectives, they can't go high ground. Just G-Pride, they're being so irritating. Again and again, using these Bloodseeker illusions. I guess, does he have the Octarine Core? Is that why they're so often?
Not yet. He has 7,000 gold saved up, but no Octarine Core. Tiny has one. Not his. Look, he actually has his Echo Saber in his backpack, hoping to maybe get a steal here. So they're going for. Oh, this is so. Yeah, man. Team Ham. I can understand why they're so frustrated right now because it's the mix of, yeah, do they stop the split push or do they commit to this? But that Blood Right spam, and it's just, it ain't happening. I really don't think they can just do this.
Yeah, I mean, G-Pride, they just push waves so damn fast. You know, the Tiny blows up waves, the Sand King blows up waves, a single Blood Right because he has the... Does he have the blow right? No, he doesn't have the blow right damage, so that doesn't quite kill an entire wave.
Tiny.
But Sword, he's inside the pit.
Yeah, he already jumped in. Jericho's going to be picked off by Skitter, though. He more spin the Sand King once again. Then, by the way, he just picked up by Matera in the midst of this. Chaotic Offering flying down the ships as well. The Ghost Fleet happening. Triple buyback from the Radiant squad as everyone's down on their side. But you know what? Bloodseeker, he gets the Aegis, and he also got the Refresher Shard that's currently in his backpack. So I don't know who got the cheese. It looks like it was Shadow Demon and got the cheese. So the Dire team gets the cheese at least. But Gorillaz-Pride gets the better of that for sure. Who actually got the Roshan? In fact, they also got the Roshan kill itself. What a timing there for Gorillaz-Pride. And yeah, after all of that.
I mean, G-Pride, they get the better of the Roche spoils, but they get the worst of the fight. Because remember, they did just use 3 buybacks.
Sure.
So this is giving you a win condition for the side of Team Ham. They literally just have to get a pick off. Probably, I think the Tiny is your greatest priority, just because he's been such a big thorn in your side. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go very, very hard, maybe even hide in these side lanes, looking for these pickoffs, get these heroes without any buybacks, and then finally, that might allow you to get your lanes under control.
I will say it wasn't on either of the cores, though, so both Bloodseeker and Storm Spirit, and the main cores at least, they still have their buyback, as Storm Spirit, by the way, zipping past the top lane, got a little scary there, but again, he's so slippery. He actually has the Yasha and Kaya now completed, so even extra speed to work with. As I'm trying to follow. I don't even know why I'm trying. Just feels impossible. So he's just jetting out of there. Jericho's found by Morphling, trying to TP out, and this is big. Minute and a half.
Yeah. This is one of the heroes without buyback. This is what we said they needed to do. You might not be able to catch the elusive Storm Spirit, but maybe you can force him to return to defend his base. But oh, he is just so damn obnoxious here in Dark Mago.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, he's doing the right thing. You know,
Dire's
he's
top
keeping them
tower
in this
is under
game.
attack.
But it's just absolutely ridiculous to see the level 25 still crit. This auto remnant it just feels broken sometimes, to be honest.
Yeah, I was gonna say he actually he's sitting on 10,000 gold. Honestly, thinking about an Ags passive could make sense for him, and he actually queues up the Ags at least. So getting that AOE vortex could be a nice follow up at this point in the game at least for him right now. In fact, he does complete the Ags, and he's actually gonna have it in his inventory for now. So I don't know if he plans to actually make it a passive or not, but you see also refresher shards put in the base for the Radiant squad. Yeah, but Mataro's clicking it. I mean, it's not going to go on Storm. Who would they use it on? Sand King, maybe?
I mean, it refreshes the charges of Rupture. You could Rupture 4 people.
Whoa.
Double Avalanche, maybe?
Whoa. They're really going in right here. They caught Sand King. He's Yul's on up, 4-step away. He does go down, though. He's out for 2 minutes. Another one of those buybacks now. You got Bane resurrecting in a couple of seconds, however, so still going to be a 4 versus 5, but Sand King's a big loss, of course. Look at that spread. Good spread from the Dire team. There's a Fiend Script, locking down Kunkka, the toss back, but disruptions there from Biver. Trying to help keep him alive. Remember, this is a very difficult target to kill. 4,700 life has that Radiance burn taken, and also they get the kill on a Bane once again for another dieback ram. In fact, pops the Aegis on Bloodseeker. Sword goes with a combo trying to run. Bloodseeker's coming back up in a second. Can they keep him alive, though? The answer is, looks like it's going to be yes. He pops Manta, runs away. He puts a Rupture up on a Morphling, and now they're zapping around for Dark Mango. Pulls in Kunkka. Kunkka's going to have to fall. That's a gem drop as well. Hestage Orion still trying to lock down and gets the kill on a sword now. Buyback from Kunkka, by the way, as he's looking to TP in as close as he can. And he does bots on in, so he gets back here quickly. Got Storm Spirit clearing out that middle lane in the meantime. Another Rupture onto Morphling. There's a disruption, though, and he morphs into Skitter, or morphs into Tiny, excuse me. Get that extra damage with the tree, of course, and now they catch up to the Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker in trouble. I believe he should have a buyback. Yes, he gets killed, but he has one if needed. They are definitely losing this Rax. I mean, the backdoor protection is still up. Yeah, this Storm Spirit, Jesus.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job. Like, Team Ham, they just got so fed up that they decided we have enough damage because we have a Morphling that we can go through backdoor regen. They know they can't fight into them on the side of G-Pride, so they just say, we're here in your base, we don't care about the creeps any longer, and it looks like this was the right idea for the side of Team Ham.
I mean, I guess, but man, is this taking forever. So they finally got the melee racks in the mid, but the bottom tier 3, I mean, it's still got a little bit of ways to go. They got that. Something tells me he's going to buy back on Bloodseeker as soon as Sand King comes up in 4 seconds. There we go. There's the buyback. So will they catch them now? Skitter sitting low on life, but he heals on up thanks to Satanic. Mastermind's going to go for the BKB TP as well as a Glimmer KP even. He gets out of there. They do catch up to Warlock, though, and they also got more Fling. They pulled him back in with the Axe effect. Out comes a chaotic offering, though, from Warlock. Saving the day, going for some turn possibly. Morphling trying to do what he can, but he's in panic mode. He's trying to right-click anything that he can, but he's trying to survive now at this point, which isn't going to happen. Morphling just couldn't kill a damn thing. I'm sure the Rupture was a big part of that. Papita running his chaotic offering away, but what a catch with that Vortex. Thanks to the Yags on Storm Spirit.
Yeah, I mean, the most crazy thing about that just has to be, he did not expect to find the Morphling. He did not know the Morphling was TPing there. He just went for the easier kill on the Warlock, and what you know, you found the Morphling. And this is the great thing about the Ags Blessing, because you might have the Lincoln Sphere on the Morphling, but that's not a targeted ability, so they now actually have more control to go through this Lincoln Sphere.
Speaking of Morphling, he does have that Moon Shard on him, another 7,700 gold saved up, so and when you still think about it, again, we're now 61 minutes into this game. This is why some of these changes were made. The idea of a passive Ag certainly is there. Obviously, a 4th Roshan is very realistic now, and as we know, that's going to include everything, both Refresher and that Ags, and I'm sure we'll see another big fight happen at that place. That's an Octa Ring Core, by the way, finished by Storm Spirit. So he swaps it in for the Boots of Travel for now, but going to mess with that a little bit as far as when needed. Man, that's an Octa Ring Core. That's pretty good for Storm Spirit to have as well.
Yeah, I mean, he just has almost unlimited mana. sorry, unlimited money, because he's been the one cutting almost
Dire's
3
top
waves
tower
at once.
is under
So he just
attack.
has no idea what to spend it all on. You know, it's what you buy a person who has everything, and apparently the answer for that is an Octarine Core.
Has fallen.
Let's take a look at the odds now. Yeah, it still likes the Dire quite a bit, 79% in fact, as far as the win probability. Of course, again, they were able to finally get the melee racks, but yeah, can they actually finish this game is that really continues to be the big concern if you're this Dire team. Of course, Bloodseeker currently without a buyback at this time. That's looking at about 5.5 minutes, but Storm Spirit does. 5,700 gold saved up. So I really think that 4th Roshan, though, is certainly going to be the big mark for the next possible fight. As you got the Dire team roaming through the Radiant jungle, getting some wards down at least. You see Storm Spirit actually gets a counter off, and he gets out of there before the hoof stomp hit. That was actually a pretty close call. Almost a good attempt, but not going to connect.
Yeah, he was trying to get off that T-ward, wasn't quite there in time, able to successfully get away, but yeah, they're just looking for pickoffs before they feel confident to go high ground again after that. I mean, it wasn't a botch high ground. They successfully managed to get the melee barracks, but they didn't get as much as they wanted.
Sand King, Aeon Disc. It's going to be his next item choice. Hasn't really been a great farming game for him. As technically playing position 4 as well, remember. So, Tiny's got another 4,200. He's thinking about building an Ethereal Blade for some even more burst and also defensive capability, if need be in this case. But the Dire team is Team Ham, that is. They're going to push the tier 2 tower at
Radiant's
least.
top tower is under attack.
It is going to be a very long Roshan spawn. Still 2 more minutes remaining before we're going to see him coming back up. So after this tower kill,
Radiant's
I don't think
top
Ham
tower
is going to try to
has
push in without the Roshan happening yet.
Yeah, one thing I do find really surprising on the side of Team Ham that I would really like to see is where is the pipe? I feel there used to be a pipe on the Centaur, but there isn't one anymore. And like, you really need this item to be able to pipe up your creep wave or fortify it through the storm cutting when you want to be doing these pushes.
Yeah, he definitely had it earlier, so he must have sold it to make. Obviously, you look at his inventory right now; it's full. He could have had it in the backpack for those specific pushes, sure, but. This Storm Spirit's ridiculous. They really don't have an easy answer, do they? At the link, they need multiple sites. I mean, that seems like maybe the play. They have one on Kunkka, but they need to have multiple sites and then coordinate at the exact split second he comes in, right? Like that's maybe the play, but obviously that's even a lot harder said than done. He's just zip zap around constantly.
I mean, the thing is, we're 64 minutes in, and pushing high ground. I just don't know how it gets easier for Team Ham. The net worth lead, it's been reduced to 4K, and the crazy thing about this is G-Pride, they have been in what feels like locked inside their base for like half an hour now, but the split pushing still continues from the sword, from the Storm Spirit, and from these Bloodseeker illusions.
At this point in the game, too, you're going to get to look at levels and see that everyone's level 25 except Bane, unfortunately. He's still 21. But a couple of more noticeable talents. You saw the Magic community on the Chaotic Offering for Warlock. Again, he has the Ags as well as the On Death, remember, so from his level 20 talent. So those things are going to be Magic Commune. You got Shadow Demon with the 2 charges of Disruption. So he's going to be able to use that a lot more frequently as top lane. They want to go for a kill. They're going to go for Tiny, and it looks like they are going to get it. That's a buyback. Will they get more? They're also going to get Bane from the looks of it. Yeah, and most likely, there we go. He's out for 80 now. Bane does not have a buyback, thanks to the lack of gold.
Oh, and at last, they've decided to push on a 5-minute timing, which means they have a catapult, which is a bit more resistance to the Storm Spirit.
Radiant's top tower
So finally,
is under
backdoor regen
attack.
is down, so they need to take as much advantage of this as possible.
Well, Skitter's leading the way. Stunned up there, of course. Disruption offensively. There's a disruption on a Morphle. I was a little worried there for a second. He pops BKB, though.
Radiant structures
Obviously,
are
he still has
fortified.
Satanic. The Rupture eventually wearing off there. This Avalanche stun, and the BKB did not wear off in time. He TP's out, but his remaining teammates are in a lot of trouble, and they're going to be comboed. In fact, the Ghost Ship's coming down to save the day, and Warlock will survive now. He is silenced. He can't get off the chaotic offering. I think he wants to, but he just couldn't cast it in time. Finally, it's going to come down, though, as we got a Sand King ultimate with the Epicenter being used. Warlock does die, but of course, that's 3 chaotic offerings now on the board. He buys back, as does Morphling, who died in the midst of that as well. Bane's still remaining there for 50 more seconds. Sladen's going to be tossed around by Sword, trying to get him back to the base at this point, but the chaotic offerings should be able to at least finish the tier 3 tower. This is a 3 chaotic offering push that are magic immune, so they are going to have some trouble destroying this before the range racks goes down, it looks like. And yeah, they are going to lose the range racks. Warlock, meanwhile, is going to end up dying to Storm Spirit, and thus another chaotic offering comes out, of course. But at least Warlock makes use of these.
Yeah, I mean, at least they've successfully got some sort of push going, but Warlock dead without buyback. Morphling already used his buyback. Obviously Roche at number 4 now. So we're going to see who gets this Ags consumable. Maybe the Shadow Demon give him the charges. But I think the Morphling could be quite nice, but Slarded, he just went in here.
Oh, Centaur, he's going to be dead. Yes, he is. Matara also now running with the BKB activated Skitter. He pops his own BKB, going after Dark Mega, who's out of mana currently. Sights up, he goes down. He has a buyback, use it immediately. Sword's also joining the party late, pulls out the Avalanche, but now Bloodseeker's in trouble, getting disarmed thanks to the Ghost Scepter. Toss him in the air with the Torrent. Finally, they get the kill on Roshan. 8 is picked up by Dark Mega, by the way. That's all we know so far. Dark Mega is going to zip-zap around, continuing. Kunkka's dead. He's out for 2 minutes. He has a buyback, but Morphling does not. Morphling's out for 2 minutes with no buyback. And this could be it for Gorillaz-Pride. They're going to push now, try to finish the game for their favor. Sand King gets the Refresher Shard. Do we know who got the axe? Bloodseeker? No, he had it.
He hadn't consumed it. He probably consumed his own. Bane doesn't have one. Tiny doesn't have one. Sand King. It must be the Sand King axe.
Okay, yeah, Sand King has it, yeah.
But, oh my goodness, that fight. Just G-Pride, the 2 of them, they don't have buybacks. They just go into it. Dark Mago, by the way, went after his buyback when they go into the pit to finish off the Roshan to get the Aegis, realizing how low it was, and they just correctly identify. They kill this Morphling. They know he doesn't have buyback. They know there's no Warlock Golems for the counter initiation. I think they might have won the game. G-Pride, they stalled for almost 30 minutes. And they take one massive fight in favor of them. And I think they might have just won the game.
I think they did. They're going to go top. Without Morphling especially, how do they defend this? They have the Ghost Ship fleet from Kunkka that could help stall things a little bit, but certainly do not have the damage to be a threat. In fact, you see G-Pride just going to charge in at them, realizing the lack of damage. So out comes a fortification. Storm Spirit will fly in the backline. Nice job with the Aeon Disc to keep him alive. In fact, Storm Spirit is locked down. Storm Spirit's going to die. Okay, so that's going to be an Aegis pop. Make sure to get him out now is the question, as in comes Sladen with the Epicenter. Buys time to get out as the chaotic offering flew down from Warlock over here. However, the Rax is going to fall still, and that will be Mega Creeps to favor the Radiant team. So they did all they could on the side of Team Ham to stop it, but they could not. They do get a consolation kill in the Sand King at least. But now it is Mega Creeps that this Dire team has to deal with. And we've already seen how much difficulty they've had dealing with his constant pushes. Dealing with Mega Creeps, this is not a lineup that's necessarily going to be the greatest at it, it feels. I mean, they have the tools, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen now.
So you have a Kunkka. I think it might be Rapier Deadless time if I'm honest, Mastermind. You might think about changing up your build there. That helps with the Mega Creep waves. Skitter can go for some sort of AoE in the Maelstrom, but it just looks like they want to go for their final push. They realize G-Pride, they're low on buybacks. They have the catapults living for a little while. So I think we might just be seeing a mid push here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they just feel all in, which is really interesting to me, but it certainly seems like whether about Sand King is dead for 40 more seconds, could buy back if they really commit to this. And that is what they're doing. So Team Ham is making their way to the bottom lane. Going to clear the range racks down here. They're going to force something out of Gorillaz-Pride. They're saying, this game's not over yet. We're going to make you ultimately win this game in the end. Dark Mago, he jumps in. Morphling caught. The disruption, saving him for now. Chaotic offering coming out as well. Dark Mago with the BKB, though. He's able to get away and zip-zap around still. Morphling going in. Skitter's not afraid. He goes in pretty deep. Again, he has a Satanic. He is adapting right now. And make sure to get out. Mastermind going to be tossed back in. The Rupture finally wearing off. BKB from Sword committed for this, trying to make the kill happen on a Kunkka. Disruption though, we'll change that. Dark Mago still trying to go after the Morphling, but realizes it's not going to happen. Sladen jumps in late with a big epicenter, but these disruptions from Shadow Demon are so freaking annoying. They can't actually conclude the kills on anyone. And now Sladen going to be lifted up thanks to the Yules, trying to get away. Hex on up though, as Storm Spirit flies through with the zap. There's the buyback on a Sand King. Eventually having to use it after his first death there. Storm Spirit got locked down, by the way. Storm Spirit might be in some trouble. No, maybe not going to be slapped up. Zapping away. Doesn't have mana currently, but he's got team support. Warlock's dead. Centaur buys back after his death, and he TPs in immediately. Team Ham is going ham. They want to try to get the victory back for themselves right here. Skitter stuns in as Sand King. He missed, though, it looked like. See the Dagon level 5 coming out from Mono on the Bloodseeker. Didn't even talk about that yet. But Morphling TP's out, realizing it's a lost cause now. A Shadow Demon goes down, and the Shrine is just dead, by the way, on the other side. So they were all in on that push to finish. It didn't happen. And Gorillaz-Pride, they just needed to stall long enough to let the creeps do their job. What a hell of a finish, a 72-minute game.
Oh, yeah, what a crazy way to finish it out. Team Ham just, you know, trying to win this one conclusive fight, but they had enough buybacks remaining for the Radiant side. One thing I do have to say is I felt the Pepita, the micro of his golems once they were summoned, he had a golem that was just hitting the Moonwell. If that was hitting there was only one remaining melee barracks, you know, they could have either split someone off from the fight who has to go defend their racks, which makes their fight easier, or they could have evened up the mega creeps. Just a last little adjustment, but Gorillaz-Pride, absolutely massive props to them. It felt like everything slipped away from them in that mid game when they weren't able to win fights. But it feels like for like half an hour, they split pushed to their heart's content, then they win one massive fight, and then from there, they win the game.
That they do. What a game. I mean, the fact that it almost seemed like Team had a chance at even coming back there at the end and pushing through, and hell of a finish. Valiant effort from both teams, but Gorillaz-Pride talk about stalling out a game long enough, giving yourself a chance, and that's all they asked for, and eventually it worked out. So maybe it could be critical of some of the picks throughout the game, but you know what? They got the W, and that is absolutely what matters. So big win for them. Team Ham, they're now 0-2. That's, you know, again, there's still plenty of games to be played, 5 for both of these teams, in fact, but an 0-2 start, that's not going to feel good, and it's only going to get, I mean, it's obviously plenty of tough competition throughout these group stages, so you have to make top 4 to move on to the next round of the playoffs, that is. We'll see if they're up for that challenge. In fact, we're going to see very quickly because they're going to have to reset now, and we're going to be casting them versus Ego Boys is the next matchup that we have lined up. Ego Boys currently 1-0. In fact, they beat Gorillaz-Pride in their first match, as we mentioned. So we're going to go to that break. Obviously, a long match there. I'm sure they'll want just a slight break themselves, will Team Ham. But at the same time, got to keep things going. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned on BreakyCPK, joined by Hasbaz. We have our next game, which will be Team Ham versus Ego Boys, coming up next for the South American Qualifiers TI9 coverage.